Hello, hello. It is Nate. I am back once again with a really cool segment on email marketing sequences. Basically, something you can use to average around a 40% open rate on your entire sequence for people who, say, have checked out your offer. Maybe they got an email from you, didn't pick up what you wanted them to do, right? So maybe they just opted in, they didn't take you up on your offer, and now you're trying to reconnect with them on the back end to get them back in, right? And understandably so, because a lot of people, have things that come up. Maybe they're not sure on what you're selling. Maybe they need time to think about it. Or shoot, someone just comes and knocks on the door, right? And they just get distracted and, they just forget about it, right? So obviously, having an email sequence is very powerful for anything you sell at any point, right? Because it gives you opportunities to shore up cash on the back end and reconnect with your prospects. So, um, one of the most powerful sequences you can use in your journey, especially on the email side of things, is an embedded cart sequence. So, not just touching base with your prospects once, but actually over multiple points, addressing different things that um, might be on the mind of your prospect, right? So, what I went ahead and done is I've compiled the exact sequence you can use. Um, in your specific journey to actually average around similar rates as well. And even if you get around the ballpark, it'll, you know, create a significant jump in your revenue by just putting something back there, right? Even if it's not exactly like this, getting something close to this will give you a significant jump in opens and sales. And so, what I want to do with you in this video is just kind of walk you through the sequence, why it's so powerful, and why you should put it to use today, especially if you're doing anything with email marketing and touching base with thousands of people or even hundreds or dozens of people on your contact list pretty regularly. So, yeah, let's go ahead and dive in. So, um, the purpose behind this sequence is to do a few things. First, to capture the eye of your prospect in their inbox, and also, get them to read what you're showing them and begin to actually nod their head in agreement and ultimately end with an understanding of like, hey, I should go ahead and take this person up on their offer, right? And so there's a few ways that we can do that. Obviously, we know with email, first and foremost, we need attractive subject lines. Easy enough. Um, Now, to go along with that, there's a couple of ways you can do this. The first one I almost always recommend is one that is has something in the subject regarding the line like about your purchase, about your order, anything of that nature, because the reason why this works so well is that anytime we're ordering something, it can be from food or something on Amazon. Anytime we get a anything that resembles an update, then that immediately catches our eye because instinctively we think, hey, is something wrong with my order? Did I miss something? Right, this is a confirmation, and so we open it, right? And so the goal here is to reconnect with the prospect, establish intrigue, and reset the purchasing time frame. So what I mean by that is basically when they open this up, right? We know that this is an abandoned cart. We know they didn't buy, and so we're not going to run from that. And so when they open up the email, we're just going to connect with them like a person would to another person, right? So we would open up with something like, hey, I saw you checked out X offer, but you didn't complete your purchase, right? And so the goal of this email would be to take them through the reasons again why your offer is so good and why they need to jump in right away, right? And so the goal of this email is to get them to open it up and then just resell them on why they need to get it, right? And also establish a foundation to let you connect with them at multiple points without it feeling like they need to make a decision right now, because again, they probably have a variety of different objections, and we want to make sure we leave that door open so we can address them over time, because there's no way we're going to handle it all in one email, right? So this one is extremely powerful, especially as an opener to a sequence. So I highly recommend you use this or something like this. The next one is a FAQ. You'd be surprised how far something as simple as just answering questions about your offer goes to getting people on board. And so the goal of the FAQ email is to answer questions about what your product does, your service does, and features, right? And so for this, I usually recommend picking about the top 5 things or so that people ask about your offer in general. And look, if you don't get a lot of people who ask about different things with your offer, one neat hack that you can do is actually analyze what you sell and think about why would someone not pick this up, right? And what would the most common reasons be, right? So for you as a business owner, you should be pretty dialed into what you sell, and it should be very easy to see, okay, I know my product extremely well. I understand who it's most suited for and who might be a little turned off by it. So let me compile those things. It can be 5 different things, and um, turn those into an FAQ, right? So like for example, if you think about a watch, right? Well, there's a lot of things that go into a watch, right? It could be the way it tells time. It could be the different features in the screen. It could be, like, is it one of those fancy digital watches? Is it one of those ones with, the traditional hands, right? But inside all of those things are a bunch of different features that some people are turned on by and some people have questions about, and they're not sure if the watch is right for them. And so that's a perfect time to think about, well, okay, given who my market is and what I'm selling here, what are the things that people might still be on the fence about, right? With regards to the features of my products. And so I'd recommend choosing about 5, not a ton, but when you have something like that, I would recommend opening up with something like, "Hey, if you're still on the fence about X, your offer, I want to help. So I want to go ahead and answer a few of the most common questions I get about what I'm selling." Right now, obviously not in that language because it is in the email and you want to talk to them like a person, but this is the framing you want to use. So this email goes a very long way with, again, answering objections and getting people to jump back in and pull the trigger. Right. Number 3, testimonial. Great time to add in social proof, which is the goal of this because social proof eases anxiety about what you're selling, right? If you have a powerful testimonial, for example, like I don't know, let's say like you sell shoes, right? And um, maybe one person has always struggled with finding the right fit, finding the perfect shoes that give them great posture and stuff, and then maybe they got your shoes and then now like they have incredible posture, like no more lingering knee problems or anything like that. Well, then at that point, that would be a powerful testimonial to use for people who say are currently having a similar problem, right? And so with testimonials, for this particular email, I recommend using a very powerful testimonial if you have one, because that goes a long way with letting people know who are on the fence, right? That, hey, okay, someone else aside from me invested in this product, right? And I can see now, hey, it actually works, right? Which is the goal here, is to answer that question through someone else. Does this product actually work? Well, now that we're getting results from other users, I can see, okay, cool, these guys are winning with this product or service. So, okay, it's probably worth trying, right? It's very similar to how you scour through Amazon for different products and services, right? Like you don't just go with the one that usually has like 3 or 2 out of 5 stars, right? You're typically looking for the one that has 4.5 to 5. And even if it has 5 stars, right? Chances are you're still going to go read the reviews, right? Because you want to see what other people are saying and you want to see, like, hey, this product is great, but how's the manufacturing? How's the quality? Like, is it actually that good, right? Are these 5-star reviews recent? Are they old? And so all those little things, are a critical part of the buying process. And so that's why these go a long, long, long way. For number 4, you versus the competition. This one's always spicy. This is one of my favorite ones because anytime you have a chance to put a competitor under, obviously you have to do it legally. you know, um, then this one is great, right? Like, say, for example, if you have a specific type of energy drink, right? And maybe like one of your competitors is, I don't know, someone like Monster, right? Or 5 Hour Energy or just whatever. Well, one thing you can do there is you can highlight exactly how your product is different from your competition, and you can get granular. Obviously, again, you have to be factual, but you can get very granular, right? You can go into the details like, hey, I have this, my product has this much calories versus all these other people. My product has this much caffeine versus these other alternatives, right? And basically, the idea is that you position your offer as the only option and why you're better, right? And so, what this does is it begins to help dismiss alternatives in your prospect's mind so that they only think about you when it comes to making a decision, right? On your offer. And then the last one is the last call email. Now, this one is great, especially when you have something that is set to time, like to a timer, right? So, like an offer that's going to expire in a specific time frame. Um, the reason why this one is so powerful is because it's the gates closing for good, right? And what's powerful about this is that it gets indecisive people off the fence, which is what you want. And so, especially if you have like an attractive offer or a special promotion, you do not want to leave it open forever, because I promise you, you will make more sales by actually ending it rather than just leaving it open. And so, when you have something like this is that final mark that like lets your prospect know, hey, this is it, right? And we all know that human beings typically like to procrastinate until they're actually, usually put up to a wall in some instance, and like, forced to actually make a decision on something and do so like right away, right? And by this point, like we've already hit them with these different alternatives and they still haven't um pulled the trigger. Well, then this is their last time. And now this is where we say, hey, we've shown you all the facts. We've given you all the information. We've shown you how much better we are. And we get that you're still on the fence, right? And so you still want to be understanding and relatable, but you also need to let them know that, like, hey, this offer is actually closing. And once it's closed, that's it, right? After this email, if you choose to not take action from this email, then this is the last time we're going to contact you about this offer. Again, in a very, candid way, right? Like you're talking to a friend, but also letting them know that like this is it, right? And so typically just something that closes at midnight, and midnight's not like required. It can be any other time frame, right? But you also want to ask them, if this offer is closing for good, and so if you are on the fence, why risk it, right? If you're interested, and hey, you open this email, that means you're interested to some degree. Well, this is a special promotion. Why risk missing out on it and paying normal price? Just an example, right? And so that's why this type of email sequence does very, very well for getting very high open rates and conversions. I promise you, if you're not using something like this already, put it to work. Holiday season's coming around. Perfect time to use it are just for your next promotion, but this sequence is extremely powerful. It works extremely well, and I promise you, if you even do half of this, you will experience a windfall of sales on the back end that you wouldn't have gotten otherwise. So, all right, guys, that is all I have. And I hope you enjoyed this segment. So if you have any more questions about emails in general, feel free to leave a comment below. And as always, I enjoy helping you guys make more money, sharing more information. And until next time, peace.